So I just wanted to do a follow-up interview, mainly with your son.
Okay.
We talked real briefly at the house.
Yeah.
Okay. I just urge you, when I ask him questions, that just don't try to answer for him at all or anything like that, and then you just answer the best of your ability. If you don't know, you don't know, don't worry about it.
All right.
Okay? So what's your name?
Nikole Scott Atkinson.
Nicholas. Do you have an ID?
I do.
I just have that, that's easier sometimes. Let's take a picture of it. Thank you. Okay, so you go by Nicholas or Nick or?
Nick.
Nick? Okay, Nick. So just walk me through your version of everything from the first time you guys went to the house.
We went to the house, we went up to the door and knocked on it. It didn't work. Then we entered the code that we knew to open the door. And then the bolt lock was shut, so we couldn't open the door all the way. We shouted Shannan through the crack of the door a few times, and there was no response, so we closed it, and we went back. And then we pulled Mom's car up to the garage door so that we could, so I could stand out to see if her car was on the inside of it.
Okay.
And then, once we saw that, we went back to the door, opened it again, and then through the small crack, we shot Shannan a few times.
Okay.
Again, then we called Chris, and Chris said that she was on a play date with friends.
Did he say that to you, or?
He said that to Mom.
And did you hear that, or is that just something that
She
you
was on
heard
the
from?
speaker,
Okay.
so I heard it.
Okay. Go ahead, sorry.
And then after that, Mom called one of her friends and told them what was going on, and then they called Chris, and Chris told them that she was, I don't remember where she said she was, but he told her something completely different than what he told us.
Okay, you remember what
I
that
don't
was?
remember exactly what it was.
And who was that friend?
I think it was Cassie.
Is that right?
I think I talked to Addie, or it was just somewhere between Shannan's mom, what he told Shannan's mom, and then what he told Cassie, and what he told, I believe, Addie.
Okay.
And everybody, he told different things, and then about 40 minutes of doing stuff around the house, well, not around the house, trying to get into the house, I figured while she's in there and she's unconscious, because their alarm's gone off before when I was dog sitting, and it's a loud alarm, so I lifted up the garage door so to trigger it, and it triggered, and then was disarmed.
Okay. Oh, so you lifted the garage door purposely to trigger the alarm?
Yes.
Okay.
I lifted it up purposely because I figured if she's asleep and couldn't hear us through the door,
Yep.
the alarm would definitely wake her up.
Okay.
And then that didn't work, so then me and Mom, Chris called us and said to leave the house alone, and also asked us to not call the cops or kick the door open or anything.
You said that over the phone?
Yes.
You heard that yourself?
Yes.
Okay, 1 second. He called back and said that?
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
And then after that, we proceeded. We told him that we weren't there because we didn't want, because we didn't know what was going on. So we told him we weren't there. Then we got in the car and went to the doctor's office and we asked if they could tell us if she was there, if she even showed up. And Mom went in and Mom came out and told me that she didn't show up.
Okay.
And then, so we drove back to the house, knocked on the door again and opened it and shouted Shannan and their names to see if they were there, called Chris, and he said he was already on his way by this time.
Okay.
And this was about an hour ago, give or take. And he said he was still an hour out. So then we decided to call the police.
Okay.
and then your officer arrived and went around and did everything I did, which is try to find a way into the house. And then we opened the door, and through the slight crack, he shouted, "Police department, if anyone's in here, please make yourself known," 2 times, and then closed the door, because nobody responded. And about 45 minutes later, so it took Chris about 2 hours and a half to get there.
From the first call? Okay.
And it takes him about 30, 45 minutes from his work to get there.
Okay.
And then, when he showed up, he opened the door, he went through the garage and opened her car door for us to, because the police officer and everybody, we all looked at it. And then he instantly booked it inside the house, ran around the entire house inside and everything, and then opened the front door and let us all in.
Okay, so Officer Coonrod didn't go in with him at that point?
No, because he said we have a right to our Fourth Amendment, and he can't legally go inside the house unless he had permission, because there was no signs of a fight or disturbance for him to be allowed to enter the home.
Okay.
And then once he came around and opened the front door for us, Chris said he could come in, and then they all went. They searched the main floor. No, they went. Okay, everybody went. They went upstairs, and Chris was about 10 feet ahead of everybody, and I followed them upstairs. And then when I came upstairs, I figured something was up and something wasn't right, so I instantly went over to the couch and started moving pillows, and I found Shannan's phone under the pillows.
Okay, and what drove you to the couch?
It's the first thing that I thought, where would I hide something if it went missing? And I figured I'd hide it under something, so I was going to go to the couch, then I was going to go look under the bed, and then I was going to go look in CC and Bella's room under everything.
Okay.
And the couch was just the closest thing.
So when you found it under the pillows, you said?
Yeah, it was under the pillows that were on the couch.
Okay. Do me a favor. I know what it looks like. I just want you to draw the couch for me, and then how it would be situated in the room. You don't have to be an artist, but just with the best of your memory.
So I'll do like a overhead view. So here's
Yeah.
That's the centerpiece, and this is the L couch.
Okay.
And then here's where their TV and setup would and everything would be.
Sure.
The stairs would be here. This would be Cece's room, I think it is.
Okay.
And then this would be Bella's room. And I came up the stairs from here, and the phone was right here, underneath the pillows.
Okay.
That are all set up on the couch.
So is this laying underneath the pillows, or like in between 2 pillows, or?
It had about maybe 3 or 4 pillows like on top of it, and
Like laying flat? Or
they were pushed and positioned back up to where
like they would normally be?
Like they would normally be under
Okay.
it.
Okay.
And I moved them, and then because I started just moving them, and once I moved these ones, which there's about 2, then I got to maybe around here. So maybe a foot under the couch, and then I saw her from the corner of the phone, and I reached out from under the pillow and grabbed it.
Okay. And was it face down or face up?
It was
Do you remember?
face up.
Face up.
Wait,
If you don't know, that's okay.
I don't remember.
Okay, that's
entirely.
fine.
Can I add something? about
Sure,
that?
what?
The whole weekend, she had one of those little things on the phone, I don't know if it's still on there, but
Like
it
a battery pack?
No, it was like
Oh.
a clutch, so she could wear it on her wrist, because normally she has one of these on it,
Oh, okay.
and it broke or whatever, so she had one so that, like, when she held it to take pictures, if she dropped it, she would drop her phone.
Break her phone,
And
yeah.
I don't remember that being on it when we gave it to Saul.
It wasn't on it. It was taken off.
Okay.
Um,
What do you call that, a clutch? Like a lanyard?
Kinda, yeah.
And then after I pulled the phone out and looked at it, and then said I found her phone, and Chris said thanks, and I remember Chris put his hand out and said, thanks, because he wanted me to give it to him.
Okay.
And I remember handing it to the officer, and and the officer couldn't do anything with it, so he handed it to Chris. And then the officer asked if he could open it and see if she like texted somebody, and see if she left. And then Chris didn't know the password or was acting like he didn't. And then he tried, I think it was the baby's birthday.
Due date.
Due date.
Mm-hmm.
And then it opened. And
He tried that?
He did that and it unlocked.
And did he know that front? Did he figure it out, or did somebody tell him?
It was
I
It was Cassie on the phone, said try the baby's birthday. 'Cause I
Okay,
think
so he was messaging her at that point?
No, we were all on speaker. I had her mom on speaker, Cassie was on speaker.
When you're going through the house?
Yeah, because they were telling me places to look for stuff that I may not have thought of.
Okay.
And then, after that, they started going through the phone, and, I didn't want to go through anything else, because if they were somewhere in the house, I didn't want to go through stuff in front of Chris.
Sure.
So I went to the basement, and I went through to pretty much, I looked under the beds, they had like a pantry, I opened that, I don't know why, but I opened the freezers, and I just opened everything down there that I could have thought of.
Yeah.
And then, I didn't find anything, so I went back upstairs to the main floor, and I looked around, and there was nothing, and they all came downstairs, and then I went upstairs, and, pretty much I looked in all the closets, the rooms, under the beds, the restrooms, pretty much everything.
You didn't see anything?
Yeah.
Did you go in your bedroom?
I did.
Okay. See anything in there at all?
The bed was stripped, which,
Okay.
because I babysat the kids, I dog sat for them and everything, and that bed I've never seen not have stuff on it. It's always had
Okay.
sheets on it. And they've always kept their room in pretty good shape, and the sheets have never been on the floor, the pillows were never on the floor, and when I walked in there, the pillows
What time do you work?
Floor, the sheets were, the comforter was thrown into the corner along with another tile thin sheet, but
What time do you leave the day?
the elastic band thing you put on that one I can, yeah, that one I kind of see you're fine.
Shannan here then?
And,
Do you remember what the sheets look like?
I think they were white and blue striped.
Okay.
She usually watch the kids, or you have daycare to watch them, or?
After that, I walked downstairs and walked out of the house, and was out by the car for a little bit, and the neighbor, came out through his front door and looked at me, and he said he has a camera that sees everything in their drive-through, if we'd like to come look at it, and I said yeah, so I went over there and looked at the video footage, and then we saw Chris's truck back up to the garage to where you couldn't see the back of the truck.
Right.
And
Let me back up real quick. How did his neighbor become aware?
my bad, I forgot to mention that.
Sure.
When the officer arrived,
You guys have any kind of issues, marital issues?
we were both in the backyard, and I was following the officer
You guys filed yet or
around,
anything?
just trying to help him, because if he found a way to get into the house, I was going to obviously want to go to go to the front door and put Mom in and everything. And the neighbor saw us in the backyard looking around, and he asked if everything was okay. I said Shannan's missing, and I asked him if he'd seen her, and he said no, which is strange. And
Your wife go to that swim
then
pool often?
that's how he knew what happened.
Okay.
And then he said, I don't remember what the conversation was, but we in essence told him what was going to happen. I did, told him what was happening, and then he said, oh, okay. And then we all pretty much went back to the front of the house and waited for Chris. And then after we went through and searched and everything, then he told me that he has a camera that sees everything. So I believe it was me and the officer went into the house and went into the neighbor's house and watched the footage, because at that point I was really curious and wanted to know what the hell was happening. Because then watched the footage, and Chris saw us go in there, so then Chris followed us in and had his, as we were watching it, once we saw his truck back up, and he was, you could tell he was ferrying something back and forth to his truck. He kept going like this and getting in front of the view of the TV to try and prevent, it looked like he was trying to prevent me and the officer from seeing the upper left corner of the screen. And almost ran into me because I had to move over about a foot and look over the officer's shoulder to see what was happening because he kept moving over so I couldn't see it.
Okay.
And then after watching that, I walked out, and the officer watched it a few more times and called you. And then Mom walked in and watched it, and I went outside with Madison, the baby. And then after that, you showed up, and then that was, I went back in and looked at the tape a few more times, and then then I went, the neighbor looked at me and told me to go inside and see, like, look carefully for anything that's, like, been cleaned or any, like, red spots or anything in case something did happen. So I went inside and looked around, and that's when I came back out to you and said that I thought I saw that.
On the plant?
Yeah, right on the plant.
Yeah.
And then after that, I believe you and the officer went in with Chris and looked around for a little bit, and then I believe after that it's a little blurred. I think after that you came out and said that you guys will investigate it, and then me, Mom, and Madison. I put Madison in her car seat, and we all got in the car and left. And then Sandy's mom, not Sandy's mom, Shannan's mom.
Sandy?
Yeah. Called Nikki and asked for Nikki to go back and give the neighbor Frank's phone number.
Okay.
Which we then drove back and did. And then after she did that, she came back to the car, and we all got in the car and we left and went home. And we...
Okay. Okay, very good. That's good and detailed. I appreciate that. Did it seem like Chris, did it seem like to you, or did he maybe even have prior knowledge, either one of you at this point, that he knew that camera was there?
Yeah, he definitely.
Before that day. So he was very well aware of the camera?
Yeah,
I didn't know, I had no idea the camera was there, so.
He willingly admitted that the camera was there too, that he knew it was there, because he said to the guy that he would ask the neighbor a lot to look at the footage to see if somebody was trying to break into his truck.
Prior to that? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So he knew the camera was there.
Okay. All right. Some of this, a lot of this stuff I already know. I just need you to say it. So I'm probably getting used to this by this. I'm sure you are by this point, but.
I'm still in shock.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I totally get it. Okay, very good. So that's a good recount of what happened. That keeps me from asking a lot of questions because it's recounted. Can you do me a favor and just sign and date that for me? No.
I always smirk because they don't teach them how to do signature nowadays.
You know?
No, so they, yeah. We had to teach them how to write, like, a signature, because I'm like, no, you don't spell it, me. Write a signature.
What's the day? Forget.
19th, I think?
20th, I believe it is.
Is it?
Yeah, 20th.
Yeah, that's right. I just want to make sure I didn't mess that up.
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
And then just write your name above that. That way you got your name and your signature and all of that. Okay, great. Okay, and then you said this is the phone, right?
Yeah, the phone was about from here to here.
And what is this?
That's where, it was about a foot into it where I found the phone.
This
So
is the phone?
Yeah, around this area.
Right in that area, about a foot in? Okay, I'm just gonna write on here that that is the phone. You're good with that?
Yep.
Okay, just initial where I wrote that.
Like-
Just put your initials right there by the phone.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Okay, good. Okay, great. That's good to know. And what did the lanyard look like?
It was just like a black strap,
Like a
like yours, but black.
Like this?
Like the, yeah, and then it was like, I don't know if it hooked into like where the headphone
On
thing
your,
was or what.
On that iPhone case, it had, it's designed to have, it had holes around the corners.
Oh, so you can just strap it
So
in?
you can put straps through it if you
Yeah,
need to.
yeah, okay. All right, good. Okay, do you have any questions for me, either one of you?
No, I didn't know if you needed, I called and left a message for, I don't know if it was for you or the CDI that I talked to. I have an app on my phone called Live 360, so it, like, I can show it to you.
Yeah.
It tells you exactly, like, when I leave the house, to what points I go to, so like, it has us taking off in Arizona on the top seat of the airplane, they were taking off, and then we landed in Denver, and then me leaving DIA, driving to our house, so I don't know if that has a timeline.
I think we've got that on film when you left, when you dropped her off, absolutely, but, and then it shows when you came back to the house the next day and all that?
Yep, it shows me going to the doctor's office, everything.
Okay, absolutely then. Is there any way you can download that, or how does that work?
She
I took screenshots of it, so I can send it to you.
I kept bothering her and saying, Mother, do you have something that tracked you of where you went that night and day?
Okay, if you can email those to me, I know you probably have your card on, I'll give you another one, just
Okay.
for ease. You don't have to do it right now, but if you, tonight, if you,
Okay.
whenever it's convenient for you, if you can just email me all those screenshots, that'd be
Okay.
great. And then, we pretty much have that timeline down, but that definitely confirms it, and especially with the doctor and everything else, so, can't hurt. So, I'm actually at the point of putting together a very detailed timeline of everything, so.
Okay. And my name, I got married July 4th, and we knew we were going on this trip, and I didn't want to deal with the whole,
Yeah, no, I get it.
so, my name is, okay.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Not confused,
Yeah,
whatever.
don't worry about that, so, no problem. Okay. So, we make a note of that. What's it called, you said, 360?
Life 360.
Life 360?
Yeah.
It's like a breadcrumb tracking you, basically? right?
Kinda, we do it because my husband has a hard time telling me when he's to work, and I worry that he gets in a car
Yeah, I
accident,
get you,
so.
okay.
He set it up to where it pings when I get to work and when my husband gets to work or when we're leaving, so
Yeah,
then he
take it
knows.
down.
Yeah.
I've played with it.
So then he knows, they're on their way home, I need to stop doing whatever I'm doing.
Wow, you're starting to catch on to why I set so many parameters on your house.
Okay, I'll make a note here. Will email me screenshots. Okay.
So, I know you know we're all watching what's going on. There definitely is going to be a trial and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll all have to testify.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I don't see any way out of it.
And he is really trying to say that Shannan killed the girls.
That's his story.
So, I mean, autopsies will show that, won't that, like timeline of when?
I can't speak to anything about the autopsy at all.
Well, no, I know, but that should,
Autopsies don't necessarily give you a timeline.
do they
They
give you
do give you
Cause
cause
of.
and manner, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sharp kid we got over there.
Something I've done a lot of research on in my
Good.
board times.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so, and obviously we won't have those results for quite some time.
Right.
You know, the reports, and those always take a little while, because doctors, they literally dissect the information that they got, obtained
Right.
before they report on it to get as positive or as close to positive as they can.
mhm.
So, but, things will come out in the wash. It's always, people always,
And what do we, I mean, I know it's just a waiting game now, but is there anything we can do for the police department to take it against you?
Oh, I mean, you just did. That's the way we look at it, so. I can tell you personally, I knew something was really wrong when I went out there, and so did Officer Coonrod, which is why he called me. And it's just a matter of you have to do certain things and check off certain things before you can do anything, you know. I knew then and there that was...
I mean, I did too, I just didn't want to think the worst.
Yeah, and then we, you know, we go through the same thing. We're thinking, you know, different things. Sorry, I don't have anything next to me.
That's okay.
You know, we do the same things, and it's just like, well, maybe she could have done this, or maybe this could have happened, you know, she just got this news, so did she take off just to mess with his head, or, you know what I mean? We have to check off all that. So that night, that's why we weren't sure, or did she go out in the field, are we looking at murder-suicide? You know, people have done crazy things.
Right.
And so we put a drone in the air that night to check all the fields in the area, we had all the canvas out. And I knew then that night that I already made the decision that if she has not returned by morning, even if we had nothing else than what we got from the house, I was going to initiate a full-blown investigation,
Right.
which is what I did, and here we are. So
That's all it took.
yeah, because it was just too wrong, too much too wrong.
Right.
So yeah, he's a hard one to read, you know.
He's always been that way, though.
Yeah.
I mean, he was always, like, friendly,
Mm-hmm.
but oddly friendly, if that makes sense.
Flat line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he played with the girls and he laughed and giggled with them, like, I mean, you've seen videos. He looked like he was an amazing father, and he was. I mean, but I don't know what happened behind closed doors. I mean...
Yeah. I don't either. That part of it, I don't know. We may never know the details of that.
Right.
Or even what happened. You know, that's the full details.
Mm-hmm.
That will certainly dig. That's my job, so. Yeah, I still have friends at CBI that are still helping with certain things, so if you get calls from them, whatever, follow up, and,
right.
you know, they're still in it, obviously. This is a huge investigation for one detective, so there's no way I can do it alone.
Right.
So, okay?
You know, we're not talking to the media. I did do the one pleading her to come home, and then I did one yesterday, which was stupid. I thought they were actually going to do what I asked them to, which was just say, like, ask for a health and wellness check.
Yeah.
Go check on your friends and family.
Yeah.
And we didn't, so.
Yeah.
Learn from your mistakes, right?
That's why we don't talk to them.
Well, I get that now. They're very persistent, though. Like, is there a line between harassing?
Yeah, if you tell them stop calling me and they continue to do it, then just don't have the conversation with them at that point. If they continue to bug you, then start calling. You live in Firestone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just call Firestone PD and tell them, so these guys will not stop harassing me, and then they can call them. Usually they'll back off pretty quick if you go to that level.
Okay.
They don't want that, so.
What about, like, and I know that this is probably irrelevant and isn't really important, but what about the people on the conspiracy theories and all of that?
Yeah, I can tell you I've got thousands of those, you know, that, like what people think, how it happened, how it went all down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Or how involved I was or wasn't involved, or...
Oh, yeah, we know better than that. So if anybody says anything like that, just ignore it. I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do or how to live your life, but the further you stay away from media or social media regarding this, the happier you're going to be. Just stay
I mean,
away
I'm not responding to any of them.
Good, yeah.
I'm not whatever, but I'm just...
Even reading them, I can tell you, is not good. I mean, I don't read any of that. My wife has told me that there's some articles that said that I've said some things, but I don't talk to the media, so I have no idea.
I mean, on the way here, I got an email from somebody that posted something, some article, and they said that they were apologizing because they're like, now that we know more of the facts, this wasn't what we misquoted, and that they had retracted it. My issue was on, what was it, Friday night? Some of the pictures they were posting was my daughter and Bella, not Bella and Cece. Like, I know that's a silly thing, but...
That's...
My daughter was being,
Yeah, people don't care. Yeah, that's
and I called them and said, can you please take that picture off of your news article, because that is not Bella and Cece, that is Bella and my daughter.
Which channel was that?
It was Fox 59, and then, I don't know, was it Channel 7?
Yep.
Yeah, and they took it down, but I was just like, that's not okay. Like, you're using pictures of people you don't even know anything about.
it's a really hard way to learn the lack of integrity, in my opinion, of the media,
Right.
that you're seeing it firsthand, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why I think much the news, or pay any mind to.
Yeah. Well, good, I'm glad you know now, so. And, all right, well, again, thank you for coming in, I really appreciate it. So, answered a lot of questions.